We are starting to see some great games come back to the Mac, but this is one of the coolest I've ever seen. This is the first time anybody has ever seen it. It's the first time they've debuted it. Halo is the name of this game, and we're going to see, for the first time, Halo. Welcome, Jason.
We're unveiling the Xbox. And so, for the first time, let me now unveil Xbox.
For nearly 20 years, Microsoft and its flagship console Xbox have impacted the gaming landscape. The Xbox released November 15, 2001 at a modest price of $299 and would go on to receive critical acclaim and prove to be a strong competitor to Sony's PlayStation 2. Even flagship companies like Nintendo took notice of Xbox's success, and the console surpassed the GameCube in sales with a whopping 24 million units sold. Being Microsoft's first attempt at a gaming console, this was quite the milestone. Microsoft worked with many game developers including Argonaut Games, Just Add Monsters, Mesologic, Presto Studios, and Studio Gigante. All decent developers who had a relatively minimal impact compared to a little game studio called Bungie. Bungie's Software Products Corporation was founded by Alex Seropian in 1991. Bungie at the time focused primarily on the Macintosh platform as opposed to the Windows-based PC, since the Mac market was more open. Alex published Operation Desert Storm, which Alex himself assembled the game boxes and wrote the disc himself. Operation Desert Storm would go on to sell 2,500 copies. While attending the University of Chicago, Alex met Jason Jones, and the two would go on to create the game Minotaur: The Labyrinth of Crete. As with Operation Desert Storm, Minotaur sold 2,500 copies. In 1993, Jones brought on his friend Colin Brandt to help Bungie create Pathways, which would go on to win many awards including Macworld's Best Role-Playing Game and Inside Mac Games Adventure Game of the Year. Initially, Bungie was a Macintosh and Windows-focused game company, and at the Macworld Expo 1999, Bungie announced a little project by the name of Halo: Combat Evolved. The then interim CEO Steve Jobs led the keynote revealing Halo to the public. Halo originally was intended to be a third-person shooter game, but that all changed on June 19, 2000. June 19, 2000 was a special day for Bungie, as the company celebrated 9 years since being founded. In a move that back then shook the industry, Microsoft acquired Bungie and Halo Combat Evolved would be developed as a first-person shooter launch title for the Xbox. Halo Combat Evolved released on November 15, 2001 to critical acclaim, and it made its mark on the gaming industry. By July 2003, Halo had sold 3 million copies worldwide, quite the achievement at the time. Let's rewind back to 2002. Halo CE was beginning to cement itself as the FPS game to own. To its roots, Halo is a sci-fi shooter with some horror aspects mixed in. The campaign itself was a huge selling point for many players, but what really made players stick around was Halo's multiplayer. Before Halo, many players had Quake 3 and Unreal Tournament, highly rated arena shooters. These games had a competitive scene amongst its communities, and this competitive nature carried over to Halo CE. Halo has a unique mechanic about it. Instead of just health, players had a shield as well. Unlike other shooters, this very minimal difference made a huge impact not only on playstyle, but skill cap. You can't just spray and pray like Call of Duty, you have to be methodical and strategize your approach to gunfights. Do you toss a grenade around the corner, or do you go guns ablazing hoping to outshoot your opponent? Halo also had a unique mechanic with its use of power-ups such as active camo and overshield. As her name suggests, active camo provides the player camouflage, similar to the Predator, and overshield gives the player extra shielding. Halo CE also bolstered an impressive multiplayer map roster. Classics such as Blood Gulch, Battle Creek, and Hang 'em High usually are the first to come to mind, but others such as Rat Race, Chill Out, and Derelict were amongst the greats. With a diverse roster of weapons, maps, power-ups, and mechanics, Halo CE was slated to have a successful competitive scene, and that's just what happened. Like most gamers, our first competitive experience happened at friends' basements with 1v1s to show who was the best of the best. Those who really stood out amongst their friends wanted to prove themselves against others, and in 2002, G4 TV gave players that chance. Building off the monumental success of Halo, what better way to flex that success than to host an official Bungie supported tournament? Now, not just anyone can enter this tournament. Players had to compete in regionals and place very highly to qualify for finals. Finals were hosted in West Los Angeles on August 30th, 2002 at the G4 TV studios. 16 players qualified, including Zeus, PX, Red Ogre, Veritas, Vegeta Kane, Chump, Sergeant Slaughter, The Soldier, Kiss Charlie, Strange Purple, DM, Big Sauce, Van, Masta, and HP Darkman. These players were considered the best of the best at the time, and this tournament was meant to crown the true Halo CE king. The event was filmed from start to finish, giving Halo and its community national exposure. Travis Oates and Will Wheaton hosted the event, ad-libbing with players during interviews and hyping up matches for viewers. If you're familiar with present-day Halo, the typical tournament format is either 2v2 or 4v4 with a mix of objective and Slayer game types. However, this G4 TV tournament had quite different experimental settings. 2 rounds of 8-player FFAs were played with the top 4 of each round advancing to the finals.
The 16 players have been randomly seeded into 2 groups of 8 players. Each group will compete in 1 round of Halo Slayer Pro Deathmatch. Players will begin with 200% health, and the game will be played until one player accumulates 25 kills. At that time, the game will end, and the players will be ranked according to the Halo scoring system, with the top 4 advancing to the National Finals match later tonight.
The first round was between Veritas, Strange Perp, Sergeant Slaughter, PX, HP Darkman, DM, Kane, and Big Sauce. HP Darkman dominated the round with Strange Perp, DM, and Big Sauce coming in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. The second elimination round was between The Soldier, Kiss Charlie, Masta, Red Ogre, Vegeta Zeus, Chump, and Van.
19 and 3 tied for 3rd place with 18 kills. That is such a close game.
And Zeus go head-to-head, and Vegeta is killed by B-Van C. And we have a round.
In a much closer FFA match, The Soldier took 1st place with Kiss Charlie, Van, and Masta coming in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. This meant the finals was between HP Darkman, Masta, Van, Big Sauce, DM, Strange Perp, Kiss Charlie, and The Soldier.
And it has all come to this, the finals. When this game is completed, one of you will be the Halo National Champion.
Our players will be playing for 50 kills, and there will be no shields in the arena, which is called Blood Gulch.
Underway, and right out the gate, we can see immediately players focusing on their pistols and using the scope on the pistols right away.
3 seconds of the round.
This is very fast. We just saw some rocket fire fly out there and just barely missed DM. Looks like he's there with Strange Purple and just picked up a double kill. And you can see here the people who really separated themselves in the first 2 heats are Darkman and B-Van C, and they are both in the number 1 and number 2 spots.
A race for 2nd place right now. Nobody is going to be able to stop HP Darkman. You know what's amazing is we've just been talking for a short period of time. He added 20 kills.
48.
Mob Master is currently in 2nd place.
Yeah, Mob Master's in 2nd place with 30. HP Darkman has 49 kills. He is 1 kill away from being the Halo National Champion.
Oh my.
He is up on top of the hill there. He's drawing down on The Soldier. We have the champion!
That's it!
HP Darkman with 50 kills is the 2002 Halo National Champion.
To say HP Darkman dominated would be an understatement. Darkman won the event, being the first player to reach 50 kills, with 2nd at 31 kills, a 19 kill difference. HP Darkman became the Halo National Champion that day. Not only did he receive that title, he also won a 50-inch plasma television, an Xbox, a Bose audio system, and was presented the Halo National Championship trophy by Max Hoberman of Bungie. After the wild success of the G4 tournament, where would Halo CE go from here? The Halo CE community was growing along with its competitive scene, and there was nothing in its way. HP Darkman was considered the best. I mean, he just won the first real official tournament in the G4 tourney. But if I told you one of the best CE players to ever play didn't even qualify for the G4 tournament. 2002 was a big year for Halo. The G4 tournament was widely successful, and Halo was looking to legitimize playing video games as a means to make a living. Enter Sundance, Dia Giovanni, and Mike Sespo. The duo would go on to create MLG, or Major League Gaming, in 2002. MLG was the premier North American esports organization, and what better way to push Halo along competitively than a dedicated hub for tournaments. Another organization, AGP, had stepped up and seized the opportunity to give Halo its next tournament. AGP 1, which took place in Nashville, Tennessee from November 23rd to 24th, 2002, was much different from the G4 tournament. They introduced a 4v4 team-based format. Naturally, teams had to be formed, and the G4 champion Darkman teamed with Chump, Daigle, and Shizniz. There was a whopping 50 teams at AGP 1, with a $4,420 prize pool spread between 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place. Due to the high number of teams, pool play was introduced to reduce the number of teams to a final 16 for bracket. Darkman's team, respectively called the Dream Team, or TDT, won the event by defeating a team known as Psycho Soldiers, which included players Clockwork, Dragonspear, Luck, and Corrosion. Not only did AGP1 host a 4v4 tournament, but also an FFA event. 16 players competed, and once again, Darkman showed his dominance and won the event. However, a player got in second to Darkman. His name is Zyos. Zyos had barely missed on qualifying for the 16-player G4 tournament, but that didn't stop his grind. Attending AGP1, his team Battle Frenzy didn't place too well. But placing second to Darkman proved he was good at Halo, and Darkman had noticed. After AGP1, Zyos had joined the Dream Team, which now consisted of Darkman, Alex, Shiz, and the newly Zyos. The newly formed team had gone on to win AGP2, which was held in Nashville the following year from April 12th to 13th, 2003. At this point in Halo CE, it was safe to say the Dream Team was the best team around. With dominant performances at both AGP 1 and 2, it seemed to look like it. As 2003 was beginning to wind down, November proved to be a historical month for CE. AGP 3 was held November 29th through 30th and hosted a whopping 72 teams. The Dream Team was naturally the top seed, and Day 1 was the official pool day where teams competed to make it to the 32-team championship bracket. Throughout pools, a team was starting to establish itself as a legitimate threat to the Dream Team, Shoot to Kill. Shoot to Kill had familiar faces such as Clockwork and Strange Purple, along with two players who would go on to be some of the most synonymous names in esports history, the Ogre Twins. The Dream Team, as expected, cruised to the quarterfinals, easily defeating the round of 32 and round of 16 opponents 3-0. This would put the Dream Team comfortably in the quarterfinals of AGP 3. However, Shoot to Kill was also making waves, 3-0ing their round of 32 and round of 16 opponents. This would pit the Dream Team and Shoot to Kill against each other in the quarterfinals. The teams would play a hard-fought 5-game series. But in the end, Shoot to Kill would end up victorious with a 3-2 set count and shock the CE world.
Leading up to the match against SDK at AGP3, I felt that our team felt pretty confident. And, you know, when we first ran into SDK at 50K2, at least the current roster, you know, they were much better prepared than we were. SDK had really, really good players on their team. Both the Ogres were the dominant force behind the team. Clockwork was a very, very smart player, and Strange Purple had arguably one of the best pistols in the game, one of the best pistol shots in the game. My thoughts about losing this specific event, I learned a pretty powerful lesson that at least for the rest of my gaming career, I ended up using this lesson because, you know, when you're a professional player, you usually have a pretty good idea of where your team stands against the competition. And coming into that event, I felt that we were definitely top two with a chance to reclaim the top spot. So, you know, we ran into them in the quarterfinals. And regarding thoughts about losing, you know, our team had practiced a lot better than this. I think we got swept by the same roster at 50K2, which is the first event TDT lost. This time we took our position for granted back then. We never practiced. SDK put in a lot of effort. I mean, there was about a 3 or 4 month break, I think, in between events. So, you know, TDT was so dominant back when we were competing, we didn't even think we needed to practice anymore, and obviously that was a huge mistake. But this time we put some effort into it, and we ended up in the best of 5, taking them to Game 5. And I felt that they were still the better team, but that if we had put in more effort and been a little more cohesive as a unit, dude, we definitely could have won. I watched as SDK continued to sweep the remaining teams in the tournament, and we were the only team that managed to even win a single game from them. And so, you know, I felt good about our chances, but unfortunately TDT ended up falling apart shortly after that because I couldn't get Darkman on board with doing what needed to be done and keeping the team together. Darkman ended up deciding to, on the next event, he ended up trying to team with some other people, and that didn't sit well with me. So I made sure to voice my opinion about that, because that certainly wasn't the reason we were losing that event.
In the lead up to AGP3, SDK and TDT traded tournament wins, with TDT winning the Halo 50K and SDK winning the Halo 50K2. After the devastating loss at the hands to SDK at AGP3, SDK would ultimately go on to win the tournament. This would prove to be the last time Zyos would play with Darkman and TDT. As 2003 came to a close, a certain duo was looking to make their mark on Halo. Mike Cespo and Sundance DiGiovanni had taken their time to prepare, and the first MLG event was scheduled. To be clear, the first MLG event was technically held in October of 2003 in New York, but the event only had 3 teams participating. Among those teams was the Dream Team, who would ultimately go on to win. With the arrival of 2004, MLG was ready to host a much larger event, and that event came on February 21st through 22nd with MLG Philadelphia. MLG Philadelphia hosted 76 teams and had an $11,500 prize pool. As the bracket progressed, Shoot to Kill was comfortably beating team after team. The duo of Ogre 1 and Ogre 2 was starting to really cement itself as a force to be reckoned with. At this point, the Dream Team had all but broken up, and Zyos had joined Shoot Back, which consisted of Nistic, Damien, and Gintron. Darkman and Alex still played together under a new team called Minions of Z, but they wouldn't have much success in this tournament. With the way bracket was going, Shoot to Kill and Shoot Back were bound to run into each other, and that they did in semifinals. Zyos, with the loss of AGP3 still fresh in his mind, was determined to crush Shoot to Kill, but his revenge would not come. Shoot to Kill proved to be too much for Shoot Back, and would end up losing in the semis. Shoot to Kill would ultimately go on to win MLG Philadelphia with a win over Amazing Pickles, which consisted of Shiz, formerly of the Dream Team. Once again, Shoot to Kill was at the top of the CE world, proving they were the team to beat. Although Zyos lost to Shoot to Kill again, his team ended up taking third at the event, which is a respectable placing. Zyos was also recognized as the MVP of the event, proving he didn't need Darkman or the Dream Team to be successful in Halo CE. Jumping to April 17th, MLG Dallas would take place. The event bolstered an $8,250 prize pool and was a 3v3 format. Once again, SDK was on top and dominated the event. A week later, AGP would host its 4th major tournament in AGP4 in Washington, D.C., with a whopping 64 teams in attendance and a $9,000 prize pool. AGP4 is slated to be massive, but with SDK not attending, first place was up for the taking. The tourney itself was large enough that Fox 5 News covered it, which was huge for Halo as a whole as more eyes were on the comp scene.
morning, Lark. This is a first for DC, a Microsoft Xbox tournament here at the Washington Convention Center. Gamers are playing Halo, taking on aliens. And coming up, we'll give you a peek at the tournament and also telling you how you can still get involved. Lark?
All right, that sounds like free time fun, Karen.
Zios and the Amazing Pickles, as well as Darkman and the Dream Team, had their eyes on first place. Of course, the two would meet in finals, and after a 5-game series, Darkman and the Dream Team would end up on top. Without STK, TDT proved they were still a force to take seriously in Halo CE. On the other side of the tournament, the FFA bracket took place where Walshy would claim a first place victory. May was a pretty quiet month for CE as no major events were held, but on June 19, 2004, MLG Chicago, or Midwest Mayhem, was held. The event had 43 teams and was a double elimination format. Recognizable teams such as TDT and STK were in attendance, as well as Psycho Soldiers. Zios, recognizing the talent that his fellow FFA top competitors had, decided to start a new team, Team FFA. The team consisted of Zios, Jintron, Killer N, and Walshy. On paper, this team was a powerhouse with Walshy, who was dominating FFA, Killer N, who had just won the FFA event at MLG Dallas, and of course Zios and Jintron, players that have seen success. As the bracket progressed, STK, TDT, Psycho Soldiers, and FFA would make their way to Winners Round 3. In Winners Round 4, TDT and Psycho Soldiers would meet, where Psycho Soldiers would make the upset and defeat TDT to advance to Winners Round 5. STK would also progress to Winners Round 5, where they would meet Psycho Soldiers, but STK, proving they are the powerhouse of CE, would defeat Psycho Soldiers to make it to an all too familiar Winners Finals. On the other side of the bracket, FFA would take care of business, defeating the team of Texas Jimmies, which consisted of Ogre 3, C Squared, Damien, and Puckett, and Team Squared, which consisted of T Squared, M2, Legend, and McGavin. This was set up for an exciting Winners Finals between the established STK and the newly formed FFA. In a shock, FFA would prove too much for STK, sending them to the losers bracket and were sitting pretty in Grand Finals. STK would climb back to Grand Finals, where FFA would duke it out in an intense Game 5 series. After a hard-fought series, FFA would come out on top in a 3-2 thriller. Zios, Walshy, Jintron, and Killer N were on top of the CE world, defeating what seemed like an impossible to beat team in STK. After an impressive win by Team FFA, the next event was held in Atlanta from July 24th through July 25th, 2004, MLG Atlanta, also known as the Halo 50K 3. With 48 teams in attendance, could Team FFA repeat as back-to-back champs? As the bracket progressed, and as expected, STK was sitting comfortably in Winners Finals. On their side bracket, Team FFA would face off with the Dream Team and take care of business to advance to Winner Finals to face off with STK, a rematch of the Grand Finals in Chicago. STK would successfully get their revenge, defeating Team FFA, and was now seeing Winner's Side Grand Finals. This meant Team FFA had to climb through the depths of Losers Bracket, and that they did. Taking care of Psycho Soldiers and a team named Doug and his buddies, Team FFA were ready to take on STK yet again. An absolute display of dominance, Team FFA went on to 6-0 STK in Grand Finals. With a dominant display in Set 1, defeating STK on back-to-back Hang 'em High CTF matches and closing the first set with a 50-41 Team Slayer match on Damnation, Team FFA had all the momentum heading into Set 2. Game 1 of Set 2 was Derelict King of the Hill and a hard-fought 5 minutes to 4 minutes 6 second victory for Team FFA. Game 5 was an all-too-impressive 5-0 on Wizard CTF, and with a back-to-back championship possible, Team FFA was all steam ahead. Team Slayer on Chill Out would be the final game of the series, but that's not to say STK didn't put up one hell of a fight. Unlike previous matches in the series, this final game came down to one final play. And who else to make it other than Zios? Down 49-41, Team FFA was on the cusp of defeat. However, they clutched it up to make it 49-46. Gintron wins a battle for Rockets and he takes out a few players to make it 49-49. At this point, Zios had taken the backseat to let Gintron win the game since he had Rockets, but all of a sudden, a member of STK started to rush Zios' position, and I quote, "I see a member of STK charging my position," which really caught me off guard. I managed to take him out and win the game 50-49. With a crazy Team Slayer on Chill Out, Team FFA managed to defeat SDK in back-to-back events and proved yet again they ran Halo CE. However, due to burnout and other factors, this would be the last event Team FFA would be whole. Gintron had left the team, thus leaving a massive what could have been looking back 20 years later. So fast forward to August 21st, and MLG Seattle was on the slate. With only 20 teams in attendance, this was a much smaller bracket compared to previous events. So with Gintron leaving Team FFA, a lot of team changes occurred. Zyos was now with Team F Gintron, which consisted of Methods, Tupac, and Boo. Darkman was now teamed with Strange Purple, Alex, and Mystic. And the biggest change was with STK, now known as Team Domination, which consisted of the Ogre Twins, Killer N, and Walshy. With the Ogre Twins adding 2 monsters of CE to their team, Team Domination did exactly that, dominate. Zyos' team would land a respectable 3rd place, and Darkman would place 2nd. Just a week later, held from August 28th through 29th, AGP 5 was held with a staggering 76 teams. Taking place in Nashville, Tennessee at the Sheraton Hotel, this event really cemented how dominant Team Domination really was. Not only did they win the 4v4 event, they won the 2v2 event with all 4 members placing in the top 2 spots. And finally, the entire FFA top 4 was Team Domination, with Walshy ultimately winning that event. To say this team was a direct result of Gintron leaving Team FFA wouldn't exactly be fair, but some may suggest that was the case. Team Domination had 100% cemented themselves as the best Halo team in the world at this point, and safe to say every other CE player was quite aware. Held on September 11th, MLG San Francisco was held at the USF Lone Mountain Conference Center. With only 20 teams attending and Team Domination absent, it was anyone's event. Zyos at this point had formed a new team called Yes. The team consisted of T-Squared, Scythe, and Slim, and they did fairly well at MLG San Francisco, winning the entire event. From September 24th through 26th, AGP 6 was held in Chicago with a massive $18,800 prize pool. AGP 6 was special as this was officially their last event for Halo CE. Gintron returned and was teamed with Tupac, Toxin, and T-Square and got a very respectable 2nd place finish, only losing to Team Domination. However, on the 2v2 side bracket, a massive upset occurred. The duo of 11 and Scythe had actually managed to defeat Ogre 1 and Killer N, cracking the armor of the invincible team in at least one of the events. Held at the same time as AGP 6, MLG Los Angeles was held at the Hollywood Sports Park and had 26 teams in attendance. In a shocking development, Zyos and Darkman once again teamed together along with Mighty and Clockwork to form MVPs Unite. Even with this great team, MVPs Unite came up just short, losing the business decision composed of Strange Purple, Sergio, Mystic, and Saiyan. With Halo 2 right around the corner, MLG Boston would be the 2nd to last Halo CE event hosted in 2004. The event took place from October 9th through 10th at the Bayside Conference Center. With Team Domination non-attendance and players like Darkman and Zyos absent, the 32-team event was anyone's game. Players such as T-Square and Puckett were in attendance with their teams Loyal Penguins and iGameSpot respectively, as well as the Chargers, which consisted of Tupac, Saiyan, Toxin, and Killer N. The Chargers would successfully go on to win MLG Boston, defeating Morning Twig, which had Strange Purple, Pray For You, Laughter, and Quinn. On October 23rd through 24th, the MLG National Championship was held in New York City at the Horvath and Associates Studios. Practically all the top players and teams of Halo CE was in attendance. Even the Dream Team entered Darkman, Alex, T-Squared, and Slim. Zyos, Tupac, Gintron, and Toxin formed the Team Filthy Jackalopes. Of course, Team Domination was in attendance in peak form, as well as players such as Strange Purple, Saiyan, Sergio, and Mystic. With a whopping $22,000 prize pool, stakes were at an all-time high. Unfortunately, a lot of footage around this event has been lost to time, so we really only know the results of the 4v4 and FFA events held in New York. FFA went about as you would expect, however, Zyos will come out on top at the most important event of the year. With the FFA juggernaut Walshy getting 3rd behind his teammate Ogre 2, Zyos cemented himself as the national FFA champion for the 2004 MLG circuit. The 4v4 event, though, Walshy and his teammate Ogre 2 would take their revenge on Zyos in a big way. Leading up to the MLG National Championship, Team Domination, well, simply put, dominate events, and unfortunately for Darkman and the Dream Team and Zyos and Filthy Jackalopes, Team Domination dominated the MLG National Championship. Ogre 1, Ogre 2, Walshy, and Killer N cemented themselves as the best Halo CE team in 2004. With Halo 2 on the horizon, what would happen to the Halo CE scene? Would it just fade away or continue to grow and thrive? Well, Halo 2 turned out to be phenomenal, so the Halo CE scene stayed healthy, but the growth it once saw had slowed. 20 years after the 2004 MLG season, Halo CE is still played to this day. Groups such as Halo CE Homies keep the scene alive and well, even hosting LANs. Beach LAN is a Halo CE LAN that is hosted at Indian Rocks Beach, Florida. With an event as recent as August 2024, if you're interested in competing in Halo CE, I suggest joining Halo CE Discords, Facebook pages, as well as checking out the Halo 1 Hub, a great website to find Halo CE active players. Halo CE changed the competitive console shooter landscape and gave people a chance to play video games, not only for fun, but for money as well. So, what comes next?